What's up, WWE Universe? Stop everything you're doing right now because what I'm about to show you will completely change how you see Monday Night Raw forever. Last night, the wrestling world didn't just witness a return, we witnessed the beginning of what could be the most dangerous faction in WWE history. Picture this, you're watching Raw, thinking it's just another typical Monday night. Seth Rollins is running his empire, Bronson Reed is destroying opponents, and everything seems predictable. Then suddenly, without warning, without fanfare, without even a single entrance theme hitting, Roman Reigns appears backstage. But here's where your jaw should be hitting the floor right now. He wasn't alone. Two mysterious figures flanked the tribal chief like silent sentinels. Their faces hidden, their identities unknown, but their presence? Absolutely bone-chilling. The camera caught Seth Rollins' reaction, and let me tell you something, Mr. Monday Night Raw himself looked genuinely shook. When was the last time you saw Seth Rollins, the man who calls himself the Visionary, look that rattled? But here's what's got the entire wrestling world losing their minds. This wasn't just a surprise return. This was a calculated chess move. Roman Reigns, the master manipulator, the head of the table, doesn't do anything without a purpose. Every step he takes is strategic, every alliance he forms is deliberate. So when he shows up on Raw, Seth's territory, with two unknown soldiers by his side, you better believe there's a bigger picture we're not seeing yet. The WWE locker room is in absolute chaos right now. Superstars are picking sides, alliances are crumbling, and everyone's asking the same question. Are we witnessing the birth of S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.0? Or is this something even more dangerous? I've been analyzing this footage for hours, frame by frame, and what I discovered will blow your mind. There are clues hidden in plain sight, a tattoo here, a logo there, body language that tells a story. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly who I think these mystery men are, and trust me, my theory will change everything you think you know about what's coming next. But first, let me ask you this. Remember when the S.H.I.E.L.D. first debuted? 3 unknown rookies who came through the crowd and changed WWE forever. They took down legends, destroyed established stars, and created a legacy that still echoes today. Now imagine that same energy, that same brotherhood, but with Roman Reigns as the leader, not the follower. Imagine the tribal chief with hand-picked warriors who share his vision of dominance. The question isn't whether this is going to shake up Raw, it's whether Seth Rollins and his faction can survive what's coming. Because if my theory is right, and I'm pretty confident it is, Monday Night Raw is about to become a war zone, and Roman Reigns just fired the first shot. So buckle up, hit that like button if you're as hyped as I am, and let's dive deep into the most shocking return in recent WWE history. Now, before we unpack the mystery of Roman's return, we need to understand exactly what he's walking into, because Seth Rollins hasn't just been sitting around waiting for competition, he's been building an absolute powerhouse that's been dominating Raw for months. Let me paint you the picture of Seth's empire, because this isn't just a faction, it's a calculated takeover of Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins, calling himself the Visionary, has systematically assembled what might be the most dangerous group we've seen since Evolution. And here's the scary part, every single member brings something unique to the table. First, you've got Bronson Reed, and let me tell you something about this human wrecking ball. This isn't just some big guy who throws his weight around. Reed is 330 pounds of pure athleticism who moves like he weighs half that. I've watched him flatten opponents with that tsunami splash, and it's not just impressive, it's terrifying. When Reed hits that move, it's game over. No kickouts, no miraculous recoveries. Just devastation. Then there's Braun Breaker, and this is where Seth's recruitment gets really interesting. Breaker isn't just talented, he's wrestling royalty. Second-generation superstar with the bloodline of Rick Steiner. But here's what makes him dangerous. He's got that old-school intensity with new-school athleticism. I've seen him suplex guys who outweigh him by 50 pounds like they're cruiserweights. The kid's a freak athlete, and Seth knew exactly what he was doing when he brought him in. But here's where Seth's genius really shows: Dominic Mysterio. Now, I know what you're thinking, Dominic. Really? But hear me out. Dom brings something the others can't: unpredictability and heat. This guy can get under anyone's skin, and in a faction war, psychological warfare is just as important as physical dominance. Plus, he's got that Mysterio name recognition, which gives Seth's group legitimacy across different fan demographics. What makes this faction truly dangerous isn't just the individual talent, it's how Seth positioned himself as the mastermind. He's not just a leader, he's the architect of Raw's current landscape. Every major storyline, every championship picture, somehow Seth's fingerprints are on it. He's been playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. But here's what Seth might not have calculated: his success has made him a target. When you're on top, everyone wants to knock you down. And the higher you climb, the harder you fall. Seth's been so focused on building his empire that he might have forgotten the most important rule in WWE: there's always someone hungrier, someone more dangerous waiting in the shadows. The locker room dynamics have been shifting for weeks. Superstars who used to respect Seth are starting to resent his dominance. Veterans who've been pushed aside are getting restless. And now, with Roman's return, all those simmering tensions are about to explode. Seth's empire looks unbreakable from the outside, but every empire has cracks. And Roman Reigns? He's a master at finding those cracks and exploiting them. Alright, this is where things get absolutely wild, and I need you to pay close attention because what I'm about to break down will change how you see this entire situation. Those two mystery figures standing with Roman weren't random, they were carefully chosen, and the clues are hiding in plain sight. Let me walk you through what our team discovered after analyzing every frame of that backstage footage. First mystery figure: tall, athletic build, approximately 6 feet 2 inches, moving with the confidence of someone who's been in big-time situations before. But here's the detail that caught my attention: there's a distinctive tattoo on his left forearm, barely visible under his sleeve. When we enhance the image, it appears to be tribal-inspired artwork. Now, that could be coincidence, but in Roman's world, nothing is coincidence. The second figure is equally intriguing. Slightly shorter, maybe 6 feet 0 inches, but built like a tank. What stood out to me was the wrist wrap he was wearing, and this is where it gets interesting. There's a logo on that wrap that looks suspiciously like it belongs to an independent wrestling promotion. I've been reaching out to my sources in the indie scene, and the rumors I'm hearing are absolutely insane. But let's talk about their body language, because this tells us everything we need to know about who these guys are. They weren't nervous. They weren't starstruck. They moved like soldiers who've been in wars before. The way they position themselves, one slightly forward, one slightly back, that's tactical positioning. These aren't rookies getting their first taste of WWE. These are veterans who understand combat psychology. Here's where my investigation gets really interesting. I've been tracking social media activity, and there are some fascinating patterns emerging. Several indie wrestlers have gone completely dark on their social accounts in the past 2 weeks. Coincidence? I don't think so. Roman's been recruiting, and he's been doing it quietly. Theory number 1 that's gaining traction: these could be NXT call-ups who've been kept under wraps. WWE's been known to debut talent without any prior announcement, and Roman would have the pull to handpick rising stars before they're officially introduced to the main roster. Theory number 2, and this one's got me excited: international talent. Roman's Samoan heritage connects him to wrestling families worldwide. What if he's brought in wrestlers from Japan, Mexico, or even other Pacific Island promotions? The global wrestling scene is loaded with talent that American audiences haven't seen yet. But here's the theory that's keeping me up at night: what if these aren't new faces at all? What if they're familiar wrestlers in disguise, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal themselves? Think about it, the psychological impact of Roman returning with mystery allies, only to reveal they're people we know, people with their own scores to settle with Seth faction. The wrestling world is built on surprises, and Roman Reigns is the master of the long game. These mystery figures aren't just backup, they're weapons he's been preparing to deploy at exactly the right moment. Now we're getting to the theory that has the entire WWE Universe divided, and honestly, it's the one that makes the most sense when you really think about it. Could we be witnessing the birth of S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.0? And more importantly, if we are, what does that mean for the future of Monday Night Raw? Let's go back to the original S.H.I.E.L.D. for a moment, because understanding their impact is crucial to grasping what Roman might be planning. When Roman, Seth, and Dean Ambrose first emerged through the crowd at Survivor Series 2012, they didn't just debut, they revolutionized WWE. These weren't established stars getting together, they were three hungry rookies who became legends by taking down everyone in their path. But here's what made the S.H.I.E.L.D. special. They weren't just a faction, they were a brotherhood. They had each other's backs unconditionally, they moved as one unit, and they shared a vision of justice and dominance that resonated with fans. When they said they were here to protect WWE from injustice, people believed them because their actions backed up their words. Now, fast forward to today, and look at what Roman's potentially building. He's no longer the rookie who needed guidance, he's the tribal chief, the head of the table, the man who's main event WrestleMania multiple times. If he's forming a new S.H.I.E.L.D., he's not doing it as an equal member, he's doing it as the undisputed leader. Think about the psychology of this move. Seth Rollins was the one who betrayed the S.H.I.E.L.D. originally. He was the architect of their destruction, the one who drove that chair into Roman's back and shattered the Brotherhood. Now, years later, Seth built his own empire, his own faction, thinking he's untouchable. But what if Roman's been planning this comeback for years? S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.0 wouldn't just be about nostalgia, it would be about evolution. The original S.H.I.E.L.D. was about three equals fighting for justice. This new version would be about Roman's vision of order, with him as the supreme leader and his chosen warriors carrying out his will. It's a more mature, more calculated version of what made the S.H.I.E.L.D. legendary. But here's where it gets really interesting. The original S.H.I.E.L.D.'s weakness was ego. Seth's ambition ultimately destroyed them. Roman's learned from that mistake. If he's building S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.0, he's choosing loyalty over talent, dedication over ambition. These mystery figures aren't just skilled wrestlers, they're believers in Roman's vision. The tactical advantages are obvious. Seth's faction is powerful, but they're individuals working together. A true S.H.I.E.L.D. operates as a hive mind, anticipating each other's moves, covering each other's weaknesses. When the S.H.I.E.L.D. was at their peak, they were unbeatable because they fought as one. If Roman's really building S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.0, Monday Night Raw is about to experience a seismic shift. This isn't just about settling old scores with Seth, it's about establishing a new world order with Roman at the top and his chosen warriors enforcing his rule. The question isn't whether they can succeed, it's whether anyone can stop them. So here we are, WWE Universe, at the crossroads of what could be the most significant storyline development we've seen in years. After breaking down every angle, analyzing every clue, and considering every possibility, I'm convinced we're witnessing something that will fundamentally change Monday Night Raw forever. Let me bring this all together for you. Roman Reigns didn't just return to Raw, he declared war. Those two mystery figures aren't just allies, they're weapons in a carefully orchestrated campaign to reclaim what Roman believes is rightfully his. Seth Rollins' empire, as impressive as it is, was built on Roman's former territory, and the tribal chief has come to collect. But here's what makes this situation absolutely explosive. Both sides have legitimate claims to dominance. Seth's faction has been dominant, cohesive, and successful. They've earned their position through victories and strategic thinking. Roman's potential S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.0, on the other hand, represents legacy, brotherhood, and the kind of unity that once conquered WWE. The psychological warfare has already begun. Roman didn't need to say a word or throw a punch. His mere presence with those mystery allies sent a message that echoed through every corner of the WWE. Seth's reaction told us everything we need to know. The Visionary is worried, and when Seth Rollins is worried, that means we're in for something special. What happens next will determine the landscape of Monday Night Raw for months, possibly years to come. Will Roman's mystery allies reveal themselves as the game changers I believe they are? Will Seth's faction strike first to prevent Shield 2.0 from fully forming? Or will a third party emerge to take advantage of this chaos? Here's my prediction, and I want you to remember this moment. Roman's mystery allies will be revealed within the next 2 weeks, and when they are, it's going to be bigger than anyone expects. I think we're looking at a combination of returning legends and fresh talent that will create the most formidable faction WWE has seen in a decade. But I want to hear from you, because the WWE Universe always has the best theories. Drop your predictions in the comments below. Who do you think Roman's mystery allies are? Are we really seeing Shield 2.0, or is this something entirely different? And most importantly, can Seth Rollins' empire survive what's coming? If this deep dive got you as hyped as I am, smash that like button and hit subscribe because we're going to be covering every twist and turn of this storyline as it unfolds. Turn on those notifications because when these mystery figures reveal themselves, you're going to want to be the first to know. The war for Monday Night Raw has begun, and we're here for every moment of it. Until next time, this is your boy keeping you updated on all the chaos, and I'll see you at ringside when the dust settles and we find out who's really running the show.